This video will be more so focused on sitting down and speaking about Disney in the sequel trilogy, because if you don't already know, there was an interview with Daisy Ridley and she basically confirmed that during the sequel trilogy, they, like Star Wars and Disney, had no idea what they were doing with Rey. So that will be the whole video. I won't do anything else. I'll speak about it. If there is a clip, I will show it right now.
Found this out. Have you been keeping Rey's secret from the beginning? Did you know about the parentage? Tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went. There were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, "Oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy," and I was like, "Awesome." And then 2 weeks later, he was like, "Oh, we're not sure." So it kept changing. So then even I was filming, and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
Either way, if you have watched the clip or if you haven't watched the clip, it doesn't really matter. It just basically confirms that Kathleen Kennedy had no idea. She even said, like in interviews and premieres, that they've planned out since episode 7 what they're going to do with Rey, and Daisy's pretty much confirming they had no idea what they were doing with Rey until episode 9, and even at that it was very iffy. She was meant to be, or she was considered at some point to be, a Kenobi, and then instead of a Palpatine they were saying, you might be a Palpatine, 2 weeks later you might not be. They have no idea. When you're making a movie, especially a trilogy, you have to have like a foundation of each single movie in a script. So episode 7, you kind of give her a backstory, not really. Episode 8, you kind of tease more into the backstory. Episode 9, everything is revealed. In this, they didn't have a foundation. They had no idea what they were doing with Star Wars. They spent $4 billion to get the rights for Star Wars, and then to basically say, we're just not really going to make a movie, we're not going to do it properly. Even though Disney and Star Wars made Rogue One, that is a good movie, they did really good there. What happened for the sequel trilogy, it was terrible. Even if you're a sequel fan, you have to admit what they were doing was completely wrong. They should have had a fair idea of what the story was even going to entail. Having Palpatine come back was literally just to save the movie franchise after episode 8. This even confirms episode 8 was completely just terrible. Rian Johnson had no idea what he was doing with Star Wars, and I've always felt that way. I've never liked the sequel trilogy, so this confirms to pretty much everybody that he has no idea what he's doing and how to even make, I wouldn't say make a good movie, but make a good Star Wars movie. And then Rian Johnson, episode 7 is a decent movie to a good movie. I do enjoy the movie. I'm not a massive fan of the movie. I think it's an alright movie. It's a good movie, but it's an alright Star Wars movie. Episode 9 I've watched one time, and that is just because I don't want to go back and rewatch it. I wasn't a fan. I didn't think the movie was like that good. They brought back Palpatine to literally save the franchise and the trilogy, and it didn't even work out because you get Rey defeating him by herself when like that shouldn't have happened. She wasn't a chosen one, and then they called her a Palpatine, and then even a Skywalker. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. I don't think that was a good idea at all. Now, people like John Boyega, who pretty much went into the movie and he's very excited to do the whole trilogy, and then it was revealed recently in an interview as well with BQ or something along those lines. It was a British place anyway, pretty much for like an interview, and he confirmed that they had no idea what they were doing with his character and any other character besides Rey and Kylo Ren. So he basically experienced racism, and that there was even a Chinese poster to where he was like, I'm pretty sure he was sized down or something. Either way, they had no idea what they were doing besides basically one character, because one of the characters, which was Daisy, and then Rey, they had no idea what they were doing whatsoever. So when you say they had 2 decent characters, really they had one alright character, and that is Kylo Ren. It's just, to even sit down and consider this like official Star Wars in the actual canon, it's painful. I'm going to from now on consider these to be just Legends movies, or just Legends, or just not even like official canon. There's no point. There's no reason to. I'm lost for words because of how painful this is, coming from someone who pretty much reads the comics, goes into the lore. My whole day on Twitter is pretty much just Star Wars and everything there. So just seeing this, it is incredibly painful. It just hurts. Now I'm going to end the video off here. I'm not going to say subscribe or do any of that. I just want to say this video was probably somewhat short. I don't really know how to go forward in considering Star Wars after, well, pretty much like the whole sequel trilogy. I don't know how everyone's going to feel about this. This information came out maybe a few hours ago. Again, I don't know how people will feel in general. I think the diehard stans for the sequel trilogy will finally realize, you know, they just didn't have any idea what they were doing with the movies. And I honestly hope that the just trilogy just gets a bit of hate or something. I don't know. Even though they bought it for $4 billion, and George Lucas, I think, even said he would sit down and help them do the movies, they basically said yes, but then after a while said no. Like, what were they doing? It's incredibly painful to just imagine, and it's not even imagining because it did happen, and it's just hurtful, really. So I'm just gonna end the video off here. Goodbye.